Hello everybody, it's D here again with another video. Today I'll be talking about the state of the stimulus and why Congress can't get their act together in order to pass a stimulus bill that would help millions of Americans to get through the tough times caused by the coronavirus pandemic. So we've seen this constant back and forth between Trump as the White House and House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi over the past couple of months, ever since August. Senate Republicans don't want to spend a lot of money, especially since this is the one of the most, um, especially since 2016, where after Trump got elected, the GOP pretty much spent a lot of money, which was surprising considering they come from a fiscally conservative. A lot of them are really fiscally conservative, and I guess there's a need now to lower the burden on debt, which a lot of their base stems from, considering the Tea Party. Um, so basically, we had Mark Meadows and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin um, discussing engaging in stimulus talks with Nancy Pelosi, but to no avail. And it was further exacerbated by the political environment caused by the election election 2020. If this was 2019, they'd probably get it passed, much like they got it passed back in March with the CARES Act. So mainly they differ on basically state and local aid, with Democrats supporting that, and liability protections with Republicans supporting it, but Democrats not. And they can't seem to split the baby, in which case Jamie Dimon describes in when he talked about how Congress couldn't get their act together and called them incredibly childish, um, and that they should just split the difference between where they were at 1.5 trillion and 2.2 or 2.4 trillion, just split it and get like a 1.8 trillion dollar package around that. Um, we also had the Problem Solvers Caucus, which a lot of Americans, which would help out a lot of Americans, and also left out the BS that was in the other two bills. A lot of the people were talking about the FBI building, the $1.75 billion for the FBI building, which was a wish by the White House that was included in the Senate bill that was blocked by the Senate Democrats. And also they're talking about the hundreds of billions of dollars worth of wish list that Nancy Pelosi and House Democrats included in their bill, in their HEROES Act bill, which was a $2.24 trillion package, which had provisions for funding like the Art Foundation and a lot of a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily related to the coronavirus pandemic. So mainly they deferred on that, but it looks like they don't want to get a deal passed, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. I thought that maybe after Joe Biden, uh, after the election was over, either Trump or Joe Biden would make a deal happen, but it seems that the presumptive president-elect Joe Biden is siding with the House Democrats and Nancy Pelosi. With regards to the HEROES Act, he said something along the lines of that we should get a stimulus bill passed in Congress similar to the HEROES Act that Nancy Pelosi and House Democrats proposed um, back in May. Um, So there seems to be a continued partisan divide among among members of Congress in what exactly should be included in the stimulus bill, and it seems like none of them want to get a stimulus bill passed. They're using it as a political pawn in order to get voters, especially considering that this election cycle is continuing into January with the Georgia Senate runoff races on January 5th, in which two key Senate seats will be decided, with Republicans having 50 Senate seats and they need 51 for majority, while Democrats have 48. And if they get the two, then Kamala Harris could be the tiebreaker. She's the presumptive vice president-elect. Now back to the stimulus. So what happened in the past, over the past week, and what's going to happen in the coming weeks. So we see that Joe Biden came out and talked about getting a stimulus bill passed, but considering the lame duck session of Trump, there is no incentive for Trump to get a stimulus bill passed, especially considering that if the rumors are true that he plans to run again in 2024, he would like to leave it as tough as possible for Joe Biden and the Democrats. Either if he's planning on running or one of his kids, he'd want to make sure that he doesn't want to give Democrats a win in this regard. So that's another stimulus roadblock for millions of Americans. Joe Biden, who talks about bringing America together, breaking up the partisanship, talked about how he was part of a lot of bipartisan bills in the past, doesn't seem to be coming together to negotiate on the stimulus bill. Mnuchin is sidelined with the talks, and the White House seems to be taking a step back, the current White House, with regards to stimulus negotiations, and Trump has called on Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, to negotiate with Nancy Pelosi, but all we've heard is that Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi keep on holding press conferences and talking about how the other side is not coming to the negotiating table. The Senate Republicans held a press conference earlier this week talking about how
I think it's extremely important here.
Nancy Pelosi and House Democrats don't want to come to the negotiating table, and Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has said similar things. They've come out and held press conferences and talked about how Republicans are not coming to the negotiating table, how the White House isn't coming to the negotiating table, and people they're just using it as a political pawn. They don't seem like they need to get a stimulus bill passed with Nancy Pelosi's words that meet the need of American people. And all those Americans who held out hope that we would get some sort of stimulus package, that the partisanship of Congress would end somehow magically after the election, are disappointed and are left by themselves and all those hundreds of millions of Americans who voted on November 3rd and who mailed in their ballots, all those Americans are left in the dust. The majority of them, small businesses, are left to rot. There's no renewed PPP funding. There's no stimulus checks to Americans. There's no the unemployment benefits are going to run out day after Christmas, with nearly 12 million people going to lose their unemployment benefits. We also know that the stimulus bill and the executive order signed by Trump helped the self-employed and independent gig workers and contract workers, help them to be able to take advantage of unemployment benefits, which otherwise they would not have gotten. Those are going to run out. Eviction protections are going to run out. And it seems like the politicians don't understand the situation that millions of Americans are going through today, and millions of households are scared, not only with respect to the coronavirus pandemic, but also with respect to their personal finances. And yeah, every time they hold a news conference, the probability of a stimulus deal being made drops and drops and drops, and with only a few weeks with Congress remaining in session till December 19th, there doesn't seem to be any sort of urgency to get a stimulus deal done, and there doesn't seem to be any upside for any of these parties to get a stimulus deal done. So yeah, and with regards, and there's a good article by Axios on Congress to go on vacation despite lack of stimulus bill, and Joe Biden says GOP will move forward with the stimulus bill once Trump exits, which means to say that basically that you shouldn't hope for a stimulus bill coming in the next few weeks or months for that matter until Biden resumes office, and then the negotiations pick up again, and then it's going to be another couple of weeks or a few weeks, or we don't even know if it's going to happen because depending on how many seats the Senate Republicans have, they can block any bill that comes out of Congress, out of the House, into the Senate, that's placed on the Senate floor. And there doesn't seem to be any urgency from these politicians, and the I can expect we can expect the Senate um, to have a vote or put on the Senate floor another bill similar to the HEALS Act that was proposed in the beginning of August by Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans. We can also see a similar one to the skinny bill that was debated on in September, but the likelihood of either of those passing seem to be slim, especially considering the rhetoric coming out of the of both the House Democrats, Senate Democrats, as well as Joe Biden, who's the presumptive president-elect. There seems to be a united front on having a HEROES Act type stimulus bill passed or no deal at all, and which is kind of diminishing what the sentiment is among the American people about getting a stimulus deal passed. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Comment on what other videos you'd like to hear, any thoughts on the state of the stimulus, anything that I failed to go over, or what are your thoughts on the stimulus in the coming weeks and coming months? Please let me know down in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and have a great day. Thanks.